So I often find myself saying that one of my favorite aspects about the stick is how much of a chameleon instrument it is. I'll sometimes call it the Swiss Army knife of analog instruments. And today I want to talk a little bit about what that means to me. And that's a big part of that is the ability to combine multiple roles and imitate instruments while still being its own unique thing. So today I want to talk about one of the instruments that to me lives within the stick, and that's the guitar. Check it out, this is my guitar. It's an Ibanez Artcore. It's a relatively inexpensive guitar, but I love the way that it sounds, and perfect for teaching and perfect for if I want to record some stuff real quick. I don't usually gig on guitar, so I don't really care too much about its gig ability, although I think this is a good gigging guitar when it comes down to it. Anyway, what makes a guitar a guitar? Well, aside from the strings and the frets, the body and the pickups and stuff like that, I think the core things that make a guitar are its ability to play chords in multiple different ways, play lead lines, and play percussively. So how can we take a look at those aspects and manifest them on an instrument like the Chapman stick? So first, let's consider the range. Obviously, the stick has a bigger range than the guitar does. A guitar usually goes up to 24 frets on the high E string, which will give us a high E. The stick's highest note, depending on the tuning that you're in, is going to be like a high C or a high D, which is kind of like the 19th fret, or something that you would see on a pretty common acoustic guitar. And in terms of lower range, right there is the open low E string on a guitar. If we want to put it to drop D, we put it right there. And anything below that is now going to be out of the usual guitar range. Now, if we want to talk about chords, I think it's pretty obvious that the stick is as chordal, if not more so, than the guitar. And we can get really similar chordal effects, right? If I want to just play like something that would sound kind of a little bit strummed, might do something like this. Like that, or if I want to do something that's a little bit more finger-picked involved, I could do something like this. This is an excerpt from a song that I recently wrote on an EP that's going to be coming out in January. And by staying within the guitar's range, I think the lowest notes that I'm playing are this G, which would function as the 3rd fret on the guitar, and playing something that up there on its own kind of sounds pretty guitaristic, and then adding lower notes that are still within the guitar's range, you wind up with this very kind of finger-picked, finger-styles sound that is good for singing over, is good for playing a line over. It functions in that same capacity. Half-crossed playing is really good for riffing out too. You got something like Tool's 46 and 2, the main riff from that is in drop D, and it goes something like this. That's just half-cross playing, pretty simple, and that's a guitar riff. The same can be said for uncrossed playing. Here's the exact guitar riff from Weezer's Say It Ain't So. adding strumming techniques and percussive techniques really brings out another side of the guitar and the stick that is completely possible and a very cool sound. Both of these are from I Am the Lamp That Stomps off of Gef's first album. I'm just strumming at that point, and same with this one. It's just strumming and muted strums, which is something that you find in so many guitar songs all the time. Using percussive techniques like the kerchunk or the finger slap will give you a really muted strum sound as well. I did that a lot in the chorus of my Smells Like Teen Spirit arrangement. All I'm doing there is which sounds pretty similar to something like this. You know, it's not a perfect analog. But, you know, the fact that I'm doing it with one hand, which frees me up to play the melody over it, it does it well enough that the spirit of the song is still there. Lead lines are also totally doable and something that the treble side of the stick should be really familiar with already. And, you know, if you want to do some crazy shreddy stuff, that's not that hard. You know, you just have to work up your speed. And then you adding a half cross to it allows you to do some really crazy stuff. Like this lick from Gef's Macroaggressions off of our second album. I'm doing a half-crossed lick most of the way, and then, or at least part of the way, and it adds this like crazy shred thing that you see in a lot of you know, like progressive rock and progressive metal guitar playing these days, and it sounds something like this. That's something that sounds completely at home on you know, a regular guitar with some distortion and a little bit of delay, and in fact distortion and delay is what I used on the recording as well. So I think it's pretty easy to see the ways that the stick can embody the guitar. And I think this is a really cool sound that has a lot of different uses depending on what you're trying to do with it. Whether it's, you know, trying to fit into a band in the perfect way, or hunting for a certain spirit and vibe, or you know, just writing music and that's what you want to write. And I think, you know, these examples are good and they demonstrate what I'm talking about, but at the end of the day, if you really want to learn you know, learn it in a deeper way, go and find guitar music and translate it as closely as possible to the stick. You know, the closer the translation, yeah, it might take some figuring out. You know, the Say It Ain't So lick, it didn't strike me at first that was going to be a half-crossed thing, but that turned out to be the most efficient way to, or an uncrossed thing rather, but that turned out to be the most efficient way for me to play it. And so, you know, the more you think about that, the more you think about the smoothness of the translation and the smoothness of the part, while also maintaining as much as you can about it from one instrument to the next. The deeper you'll learn about the stick in an exciting and interesting new concept and context. So, I hope that helped. Take it with you, give it a shot, keep exploring.